this. This is a good one. Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
Stop, come on.
Yes, my spider lord.
Can we just stay up here all day? It is so crazy down there. We won. Mr. Stark. We won, Mr. Stark.
Welcome to Mr. Screen. Without a shadow of a doubt, with the Venom universe and seeing the entire Venom race arriving on Earth, we know that anti-Venom is the best weapon to fight Venom. The point here is that Peter Parker always has upgrades to be able to fight various enemies, and here I will bring the story with Spider-Man using the anti-Venom suit to fight the new threat of Dr. Doom. So, without further ado, let's get straight to the point. The rise of anti-Venom, the last stand. Peter Parker never imagined he would see Tony Stark like this. From an iconic hero, a symbol of hope, to a villain whose presence could make even the bravest tremble, Dr. Doom, as he now called himself, had become the greatest threat the world had ever known. And the responsibility of stopping him fell on Peter's shoulders, still a young man who barely understood the powers he carried. The story begins in New York, the city that never sleeps, but now shrouded in shadow. Ever since Tony Stark was corrupted and took on the mantle of Dr. Doom, the world has been in a constant state of fear. Stark's advanced technology, combined with Doom's mystical and dark arts, has created an unparalleled threat. The Avengers Towers, once a symbol of protection, now stand dark and sinister, a fortress of terror. Peter sat atop a building, surveying the city. What was once a vibrant place full of life was now dark, shrouded in a fog that seemed to never lift. His spider senses were on high alert, and he knew time was running out. The Avengers had tried everything they could to stop Stark, but all their efforts were in vain. Thor, Hulk, Captain America, they all fell one by one. But Peter had one last trick up his sleeve. After Stark's emergence as Doom, Peter was contacted by Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Richards had been on a desperate mission, trying to find something, anything, that could counter the mix of magic and technology that Stark now mastered. It was on one of these searches that he found something no one expected, the anti-Venom suit. The anti-Venom suit. Reed Richards explained to Peter that the anti-Venom suit was an evolved form of the Venom symbiote, but with one crucial difference. It was capable of healing and neutralizing other forms of symbiotes, in addition to having abilities that could interact with magic. It was a perfect weapon against Dr. Doom, or so they hoped. "Peter, you are our last hope," Reed had said with uncharacteristic gravity. "I know it's a lot of pressure, but if anyone can wear this suit and make a difference, it's you." The suit was unlike anything Peter had ever worn. Unlike Venom's jet black suit, anti-Venom was snow white, with pulsing black veins running through his body. As the suit fused with him, Peter felt an overwhelming power, something almost uncontrollable, but he also felt a responsibility greater than any other. Peter knew the suit was dangerous, but there was no other option. He had to stop Tony Stark, now Dr. Doom, before he plunged the entire world into darkness. The initial confrontation in the Avengers Fortress, now a dark castle of technology and magic, stood in the center of New York. Peter moved quickly, his abilities enhanced by the anti-Venom suit. He could feel the power growing within him, but also the resistance of the suit, as if it were trying to mold Peter to its own will. He entered the fortress through the most inconspicuous entrance he could find. Inside, the atmosphere was stifling. The walls were covered in mystical runes that pulsed with dark energy. Peter knew Stark was waiting for him. There were rumors that Dr. Doom was omniscient within his fortress, that he controlled everything with a mere thought. Peter encountered the first group of soldiers. They were not human, but robotic creatures created by the fusion of magic and technology. The anti-Venom suit reacted immediately, its healing powers corrupting and destroying the magical fusion that held these creatures together. Within seconds, the group was destroyed, making Peter even more aware of the power he possessed. But with this power came a crushing responsibility. Anti-Venom had a will of his own, and Peter felt the suit trying to take control, trying to shape his thoughts and actions. After fighting through several waves of Stark's creatures and automatons, Peter finally reached the main hall, where Tony Stark was waiting. What he saw made his heart stop. Stark stood in the center of a large room, surrounded by holograms and screens that displayed different realities, as if he were trying to control not just this Earth, but multiple versions of it. The Doom armor he wore was a fusion of Iron Man's old armor with mystical runes, glowing with a sinister purple energy. "Peter, I knew you would come," Stark said, not turning to face him. "Always so predictable. And so weak. Tony, you don't have to do this. There is still a way to stop it." "We can help you," Peter pleaded, but even as he spoke, he knew Stark was beyond redemption. "Help." Stark turned to him, and his eyes glowed with a hatred Peter had never seen before. "I am the only one who can save this world, Peter. The Avengers have failed. I am the only one who understands what needs to be done." Peter felt Anti-Venom react to Doom's presence, as if he were instinctively trying to fight against the power emanating from him. Without any warning, Doom launched a devastating attack, a blast of mystical energy combined with repulsor rays that destroyed everything in its path. Peter barely had time to react. He dodged, but felt the wave of energy pass through him, ripping part of his suit. Anti-Venom screamed inside his mind, a deep pain that almost knocked him out. The decisive battle, the battle that followed, was like nothing Peter had ever faced. Dr. Doom was incredibly powerful, each attack precise, devastating. He manipulated technology and magic with mastery, creating force fields, illusions, and energy attacks that kept Peter in constant motion, trying desperately to stay alive. Anti-Venom reacted to each blow, quickly healing Peter's injuries, but the pain was real, and the constant struggle to maintain control of the suit was draining his energy. Even with his increased powers, Peter felt at a disadvantage. Doom was relentless and seemed to enjoy watching him suffer. "You're nothing without this suit, Parker," Doom sneered. "You're just a kid playing hero. Without Anti-Venom, you'd be crushed like a bug." Stark's words hit Peter hard. Part of him knew it was true. Anti-Venom was his only hope for victory, but at the same time, he knew the suit was trying to dominate him, to use his anger and fear as fuel. In a moment of clarity, Peter realized he needed to embrace the suit, not fight it. Anti-Venom wasn't just a weapon, it was part of him now. He needed to trust his instincts, trust his own inner strength. With this new resolve, Peter began to focus, channeling the full power of Anti-Venom into his attacks. Bright white energy began to grow around him, forming a powerful aura that overshadowed Doom's dark light. "You won't win, Tony," Peter said, his voice firm. "No matter how hard you try, no matter how powerful you become, I will stop you. Because that's what I do. I protect people. I'm Spider-Man." Doom laughed, but there was a note of uncertainty in his voice. He attacked with more ferocity, but Peter was prepared. Anti-Venom absorbed the attacks, converting the energy into pure power. Each blow Doom delivered only strengthened Peter. Finally, Peter saw his opening. With a scream of pure determination, he launched a final strike, focusing all of Anti-Venom's energy into a single blow. Doom tried to block, but the power was too much for him. The energy tore through his defenses, destroying the layers of technology and magic that protected him. For a moment, all was silent. Doom lay prone, his armor destroyed, the body of Tony Stark revealed beneath, weakened and vulnerable. Peter approached cautiously, Anti-Venom still pulsing with power. "Tony, it's over," Peter said, but before he could do anything else, he felt a cold hand grab his arm. Doom lifted his head, his eyes glowing with indescribable fury. "It's over. This is just the beginning, Parker. You don't understand what I'm trying to do. The final sacrifice." Before Peter could react, Doom unleashed a final blast of energy, a wave of destruction that began to consume everything around them. The ground began to crack, and the fortress began to crumble. Doom was trying to take everyone and everything with him. Desperately, Peter tried to contain the energy, but he felt Anti-Venom begin to weaken. The battle had consumed almost all of his strength. He knew he didn't have much time. It was then that he made the most difficult decision of his life. Using the last of Anti-Venom's power, Peter launched himself at Doom, enveloping him with the suit. Anti-Venom began to fight back, trying to neutralize Doom's destructive energy, but Peter knew it wouldn't be enough. He had to sacrifice himself to save everyone. "I'm sorry, Tony," Peter whispered as the energy consumed them. "I'm sorry for everything." With one final scream, Peter channeled the full power of Anti-Venom, creating an explosion of white light that engulfed the entire fortress. Doom's destructive energy was neutralized, but at a terrible cost. When the light finally dissipated, The fortress was in ruins, and Peter lay on the ground, the anti-venom suit slowly disintegrating. Doom lay beside him, unconscious and vulnerable. The threat had passed, but at a great cost. Dr. Doom's triumph, the time warp. Peter Parker's Spider-Man watched over New York City from the height of a building. The city had been shrouded in shadow ever since Tony Stark, corrupted by power, took on the mantle of Dr. Doom. Stark had become an unparalleled threat, combining his technological genius with dark mystical arts, transforming Avengers Tower into an impenetrable fortress of terror. The world's mightiest heroes had fallen before him, leaving Peter as the last hope. Reed Richards had given Peter the anti-venom suit, a powerful weapon that could be the key to defeating Stark. The white suit with black veins pulsed with an energy that Peter could barely control, but he knew there was no other option. He infiltrated the fortress, fighting off hordes of robotic creatures imbued with magic, until he reached the main hall, where Tony Stark, now Dr. Doom, awaited him. The battle was fierce. Dr. Doom was relentless, attacking Peter with a devastating combination of advanced technology and dark magic. Despite his powers enhanced by anti-venom, Peter was at a disadvantage. Every blow from Doom was precise and devastating, and the fortress around them began to crumble under the weight of the battle. Peter struggled not only to fight Stark, but also to maintain control of the suit that threatened to overwhelm him. At the decisive moment, Doom revealed his true plan. Using advanced technology combined with mystical spells, he opened a portal to another timeline. Before Peter could react, Doom delivered a final blow that left Peter severely injured and unable to continue fighting. Stark, triumphant, looked down at Peter with disdain. "You were never my match, Parker," Doom said coldly. "This world is doomed, and I will rule a universe where my vision will be realized." With that, Dr. Doom stepped into the portal, leaving Peter defeated and the fortress crumbling around him. By the time the Avengers finally arrived, it was too late. Tony Stark had disappeared into a new reality, where he would rule with an iron fist. Peter, wounded, reflected on his defeat, knowing that the weight of his actions and the threat of Stark still loomed over the multiverse. The legacy of Spider-Man. The Avengers, shattered, rescued Peter from the rubble of the fortress. The city lay in ruins, and confidence in the heroes had been shaken to its core. Stark had triumphed, and the threat of Dr. Doom now stretched across multiple realities. Peter, as he recovered from his injuries, reflected on the gravity of his defeat. He knew that Tony Stark, in another timeline, would continue to spread his evil influence. The responsibility to stop this threat remained, even with the crushing loss he had just suffered. The weight of failure, as well as the dark power of anti-venom, was a burden Peter knew he would carry forever. Even so, he prepared himself for what was to come, knowing that somewhere Dr. Doom was still lurking, ready to destroy everything he loved. Peter Parker's Spider-Man would continue his fight, now aware that the hardest battles were yet to come, in a multiverse where evil triumphed, and where he, once again, would have to face the weight of being the last hero of a reality in decline. So these are our theoretical points. What do you think of all this? Don't forget to leave a comment with your opinion, click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I'm Mr. Screen and see you soon. Bye.